We'll discuss the Pauli exclusion principle, which states that no two electron in an atom can have all the four quantum number value same, right? Or in other words, we can say that in an orbital we can have maximum of the two electrons. Now Pauli exclusion principle, right? Now this is the important principle which will be followed when we are filling the electrons in an atomic orbital. Students, we are just moving ahead to the filling up of electronic configuration, right? So for that we have first discussed the n plus L rule. Now second we are going to discuss the Pauli's exclusion principle, which states that no two electrons in an atom can have all the four quantum number values same, right? If all the four quantum number value will not be same, so it can be also stated as that in an orbital, so in an orbital maximum of two electrons are possible with opposite spin, right? Now we are just going to discuss this taking an example. Now let us take example of, we are going to just write down all the possible values for 3p subshell, right? Now the 3p subshell, right, here the what is the value of n? It is 3, right? What is the value of subshell L, that is the subsidiary quantum number? It will be 1, right? Now if we consider that we are just showing this 3p in this way, right, and we have got this electron over here. Now we are just going to write down the all possible values. Okay, let's have this electron also here, and this is also here. Now this is indicating the p subshell, right, as a whole, and these three blocks are indicating the atomic orbitals. Now we are going to write down the quantum numbers for the first electron. So I am writing here the quantum number value for this electron. So here it is n equal to 3, right? L equals to 1, right, since it is p subshell, and in p subshell we are having the electron here. So here the ml value, that is the magnetic quantum number, right, will be -1, right? Now what is going to be the value of the spin quantum number here, ms? Now since it has been directed upward, right, we can have that will have the plus half, or it is moving with the spin plus half or minus half. So I've just indicated here to be plus half, right? Now we will just write down the quantum number value for this electron, showing it with dot. Now when we will write down the value for this electron, right, here same, it also belongs to the shell number 3. The subshell is also 1 here because it is p subshell, right? Now the ml value, that is the magnetic quantum number, it will be 0, right? It is not -1, it is 0 here. And ms value, since they are resembling one another in the spin or direction, and taking it to be plus half. Now you can see here that the electron is present in the same subshell, but there is a difference in the quantum number. Now which quantum number differentiate between the two? This is this value, right? Now let us assume that if this orbital has got the 2 electrons in it, right, it has got the 2 electrons here. Now we are going to write down the principal quantum number for this electron, right, which I am darkening up this electron. So here n equals to 3, right, L equals to 1, since it is p subshell, ml value is -1, right? But what is the value of the spin quantum number? Since it is in the opposite spin, so it is -r. Now, though this electron is present in the same orbital as this first one was present, the star mark or the asterisk one, right? Then also, they are not having all the 4 quantum number values same. There is a difference in the spin, right? Here n equals to 3, here also 3. L equals to 1, here also 1. Ml, here it is -1. Here it is also -1, but the difference lies in the spin, that is spin quantum number is +half and -half. Hence, we can conclude that the no two electrons in an atom can have all the set of 4 quantum numbers same. If there is similarity in the 3, there will be difference in the 1, right, will be definitely there, right. This we have discussed about the Pauli exclusion principle. In the last class, we have discussed the quantum numbers which help us to predict the position, or we can say the location of an electron in an atom, right? And we know that we have got the 4 quantum numbers. First is the principal quantum number, then we have azimuthal quantum number, magnetic quantum number, and the spin quantum number. Now the spin quantum number, it just helps to find the spin of an electron, whether it is moving in an anti-clockwise or a clockwise spin. Right? Accordingly, we will have the +half and the -half values for the magnetic quantum number. Now, due to the spin of a electron, the electron gives the magnetic property to an atom, right? It behaves as a tiny magnet, right? If the electrons in an atom are all paired up, that means we have got the even number of electrons, all are paired up, then what will happen? It will behave as a diamagnetic substance, right? And it will be weakly repelled by the external magnetic field. Now, when the electrons are unpaired, right? That is, they will be having uneven number or odd number of electrons. In that case, it will be behaving as a paramagnetic substance and it will be attracted toward the external magnetic field. Now students, we will discuss about the distribution of an electron in a given volume, okay, in an atom. Now for it, we have the word orbital as the probability, maximum probability of finding an electron, and it is denoted by the wave function psi. Now the wave function psi, right, to just locate or trace the electron, right. So the wave function psi, we have to link it with the orbital wave, link it with the angular wave function and the radial wave function. Or we can say that the orbital wave function is the function or is the product of the angular wave function and the radial wave function. So you can see here in the board, on the board here, that the psi, that is the orbital wave function, right, it is the product of the radial wave function, right, radial function and the angular function. So here the capital R, it is denoting the radial function, and A, that is the angular function. And you can see that the orbital wave function, the product of the two values. Right students? Now the radial function, right, it will depend upon the distance of the electron or the distance of the electron from the nucleus, right, or we can say it is a function of the distance. Whereas the angular function, it is the function of the two variables. Here I have written theta and psi. Phi, sorry, theta and phi, right. Now here, what is theta and what is phi? Now we have plotted here a graph, right, x-axis, y-axis and z-axis, and this is a particular point P, right. Now here we have indicating it by the electron point. Now what is the distance of this point from the origin? That is small r, that is the distance of it from the center, right, origin point. Now the dotted line are showing the xy plane, right. This dotted line is showing the xy plane. Now the theta angle, it will be the distance between, or the angle between the r, small r, and the z axis, whereas the phi will be the angle between the projection of the xy plane, right, the projection of the xy plane and this x axis. Right students, so here one thing is there, that the radial function, right, it is going to, the radial function r, it will depend upon the n. That is, what is the shell number? N. N is 1, 2, 3, what it is. And it will depend upon the azimuthal quantum number, small l. Right, students? That is the subshell. And these both are indicating the distance, or we can see the size of the orbital, or size, which is indicating the size, right? Now, the A, that is the angular wave function, right? It will depend upon L and ML. L here stands for the azimuthal quantum number, indicating the subshell, and ML value will depend, it is indicating the magnetic quantum number, and these both will finally indicate the shape of the orbital. Students. So here the R and A, these are the function of the orbital wave function psi. Right. Now one more thing is there, it is not possible. Now here, if we are plotting the graph to just indicate the psi, right? So if we are getting the three terms here, three parameters are there. One is small r, and there is a theta, and there is a phi. Now it is not possible that we can plot a graph together of these three parameters together. So that's why we will have the plots, okay, drawn separately. So we will having the with the radius, right, radius orbital diagram will be different one, and with the probability density, or we can say with the angular distribution curve will be different. So the radial curve and the angular curve, we will have the separate plot for these two.
Click.
So students, we will draw the variation of 1s, 2s orbital and 2p orbital with the distance variation and the angular variation, right? Now the s, it is observed that the s orbital, it is has got a symmetrical distribution, right, around the nucleus. Whether it is of one subshell, first subshell, second subshell, or third, it will be symmetrically distributed. Hence, it is not going to depend upon the angular function, right, of the orbital wave function. Whereas the P subshell, D subshell, they depends upon both the radial part as well as the angular part. That is the radial function and the angular function, right? So if you see here the diagram which has been plotted here, that first we will draw the variation, distance variation. So of the radial function, this is r here, right? This is radial function, and this is the r, small r, which is indicating the distance from the nucleus, and this we have drawn for the 1s, right? So as here we will see that when we are closer to the radii is very less, that means we are closer to the nucleus, right? So that time the radial function is at its peak. Now as we are moving away from the nucleus, you can see the fall down, and then it is coming to the getting the lower value, right? We are getting here the lower value. Whereas for the 2s orbital, you can see here, this is for the 2s orbital. Here we are the with the when the distance from the nucleus is very less, you can see the radial function, right? It is having the higher value, but as we are moving away from the nucleus, right, it will come, it starts falling down. A point is reached when it is just intersecting the x-axis. That means here the probability, the radial probability is going to be 0. Here we are getting the node here, and then again it will fall down, come to the negative part, fall down, and then it will again rise up. This is for the 2s, right? Variation with the distance variation. And then for the 2p orbital, you can see here that when it is at the origin, that means when you are closer to the nucleus, that time the radial probability is radial function value has got the lowest value, right? And as we start moving away from the nucleus, its value starts rising, and then after reaching a peak value, it will fall down. This is for the 2p. So 1s and 2s, right, they depend only upon, that is the s subshell, right, is only going to depend upon the distance, that is the distance, we can say the radial part, right? Whereas the the P subshell and D subshell, it will depend upon, along with the radial function, it is going to depend upon the angular function also. Now, this is the angular variation. This was a distance variation. This is the angular variation. Now, this we have drawn for the 1s. This is x-axis, right? If you are representing it, this is in this way, right? X, Y, and Z axis. That time, this is showing the distribution of the electron, right? And consider here the angular variation is there, right? Here this is for the 2s, right? So here we will get the electron cloud intensity high, then a point will be there where a surface will come where there will be no electron density, right? That is a node area, and again we are getting the another electron cloud or the probability region here. This is for the 2s, right? Then this is for the 2px, right? Here we can see that we are getting the lobes over here. We are getting, that means the p subshell will have got the two lobes here. This one is there and this is another lobe, and it is directed along the x-axis, right? Now this will be the point which will be just closer to the nucleus. This one we are at the origin, and the electron density is going to be 0 here, right? And it is nearly to 0, and then it is increasing. Now the plus and minus sign are not indicating the charges, they are indicating the just the plus minus sign of the wave function, or we can say the axis. So students, now in the next we are going to discuss further about the orbital diagrams of the different orbitals.